comes to tips on Periscope, one of the big things that everybody wants to know is, how do I get more followers? How do I get a full room? And that's one of the questions that a lot of people ask me on Periscope. You guys know, like, you're in the shows every single day. And so I wanted to bring Mark Shaw. And when I was asking him, hey, what do you really want to talk about? He goes, whatever adds value. And I said, that's like the secret to adding followers and getting a full room on Periscope, right? Like, it's adding value. So guys, we've got Mark Shaw here. Mark, how are you doing, man? You're still stateside, aren't you?
I'm great. I'm in the Florida house. I'm here for another month. The first week, I think it sort of won the record for the wettest week in Florida ever. So it didn't. I mean, I expected rain, but not non-stop. It just didn't stop. This week, sun's out. It's looking good. So yeah, having a great time.
Awesome, awesome. So we've got a few people chiming in here. Success Sean says, morning, Mark. Wendy says, two of my favorite broadcasters. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Thanks for joining us, guys and girls.
Ready, Set, Cake says, hello. Diane Bernard says, hey, you two. So we got a lot of people here hanging out, and they're all anxious to hear what is it that really adds value on Periscope and allows us to gain more followers. So guys, I just want to give you a heads up. The way this is going to work is when Mark is talking, I'll be checking out Periscope. I'll be writing down comments. When I'm talking, your comments might not be seen. If Mark hops in the room on his phone, he may see them. But when Mark is talking, that's going to be your key time to ask questions that you want me to throw out there. But the topic that we're going to be talking about today, Mark, is just this idea of, how do I get more people in my shows? How do I get more followers on Periscope? That's something that I know you're really passionate about, and anybody who watches, you know. So I'm just going to open it up. This idea of value, if that's what allows us to get more people into our shows, what is real value? Like, if we have a skewed perception of what value is, then no matter how much we do what we think adding value is, like, it's not going to. So what is adding value? It's something that you do. What is it?
Okay, well, the most important thing, and I can't stress this enough, okay, is it's not about, social media is not about you, it's about your customers. So the first thing is you need to think like a customer, not like a business, okay? So whatever you do, you need to put yourself in their shoes, in their mindset. What do they want? Because with the greatest respect, they don't really care about you. What they care about is what they want in life. So they want more traffic, more revenue, more people on their newsletter, whatever they want to achieve. So the adding value is helping other people achieve what they want. And the more you do that on a regular basis, by giving away your best advice, your best tips, your best information, the more they will get to know, like, and trust you. They will get value because they are actually getting something from your show. At the end of your show, I always give an action plan. I want people to do this, this, and this, try this, this, and this. So give them something to do. And in time, they will start to refer you, advocate you, because they are getting value. It's working for their business. That's social media.
Yeah. Okay. So you said something real there, right there, that I think a whole bunch of people may key in on. And you said providing your best content for free on social media. And a lot of people have a problem with that, because it's like, well, if I give my best content for free, what's going to be left for people to pay? So talk about that.
Absolutely. And this is a great point. Okay. And the analogy I always give people is the chef. The Michelin star chef who goes on the cooking program, okay? When the person says, what are you going to make? They don't say, I'm going to do poached egg on toast because I don't want to share my best recipe, okay? They cook their best recipe. They want people to see them making their best food, their best dish, their best stuff. And that's what you need to do on social. Now, good point, Dave, is that people then go, oh, but if I share my best stuff, people won't buy my stuff, okay? This is a fallacy. And the reason why it's a fallacy is because, yes, there will always be people who will then go and do it themselves. That's fine. But there will always still be people who have seen you demonstrate your knowledge, your expertise. You've proven you know what you're talking about, and then will hire you. Okay, that's the point, okay? So I always encourage people to give their best stuff away for free. Now, I do have a sort of a rule about that, though. Let's be clear on it, okay? And my rule is one-to-many is free. So podcasts, webinars, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, one-to-many, free, best stuff all day. If someone calls me though for a one-to-one, that's on the meter. That's on the meter, because that's now different.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's be clear on that though. But my premise is on Periscope, on Twitter, on all social media platforms to give my best tips. And let me tell you, okay, it's quite interesting what happens when you give your best stuff, as opposed to, I'm not really going to share anything because I don't want anyone to steal it, whatever. Listen, folks, you can't steal anything anymore. Nothing new anymore. It's all been done, rehashed, retried, redone, retested,
Yeah.
and so on. Okay. All right. When you give your best, suddenly people start. I've had more people. I've been on Twitter over 7 years. 30,000 followers on Twitter, 7 years. I've been on Periscope about 14 weeks. 30,000 followers on Periscope. I've had more people call me, reach out, contact me for podcasts, webinars, interviews, talks, consultancy, the whole 9 yards since I've been on here than in 7 years of being on Twitter, by giving away my best advice. So I know there were people who use my sayings. I know there are people who've written books with pretty much all of my stuff in. I know all that, okay? But you have to take it on the chin, right? And you have to just say, okay, you're giving it away. People are going to borrow here, this, that, and the other. And that's just how it is. But out of that, you'll find the people who do want to hire you. And you get that because you're doing your best stuff.
People are really resonating with this, Mark. Some of the things that I'm writing down here. Sean says, you got to answer the question, what's in it for me? Diane said, and I love this. Diane says, give lots for free. And then she adds, customize to sell. And I really like that because it's exactly what you're talking about. One-to-many is free. One-to-one, that's paid. But it's the one-to-one when somebody's saying, look, I understand, right? I understand I need this. Maybe I can even do it, but I don't have the time or I don't have the expertise. I need you to do it for me. So you customize for them when you get to the point of sale. And Christian is saying you can't give too much value. And then generate abundance resonated with the idea of just there's nothing new under the sun. Everything's been done before. And I think that actually leans into a really good point, kind of somewhat related, because people think, oh, Mark Shaw's already talking about the things I want to talk about, or Dave Schrine's already talking about the things I want to talk about. Why would I hop on Periscope and start talking about the things that they're talking about? Because they're so much better than me, or they're so much rehearsed than me. And the idea here is we're not talking, you and I, we're not talking about anything new. It's all been said before. The only difference is you've never talked about it, right? Like it's never had the Mark Shaw voice before, or it's never had the Dave Shrine voice, which means if you're watching right now, it's never had your voice. And I can't be you. Mark Shaw can't be you. We can't say things that we're saying the way you can. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Mark?
Absolutely. I mean, I have a saying for pretty much everything, okay? And one of them is, okay, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Okay? All right? Okay. So, yes, exactly right, Dave. There is very little, if anything, that is new anymore, okay? We're all rehashing the same sort of content, but with our own style, our own take on it, our own bits and pieces, our own language, our own culture, whatever, okay? And that's important, all right? It doesn't matter that someone else has said it. It doesn't matter that someone else has written it. What I don't like is when you copy. Don't copy people, okay? Learn from other people, find other great content. I read a lot of blogs. I watch a lot of Periscope shows. I watch a lot of Facebook stuff. Why? Just to see what people are talking about, to see what they're sharing, to see what they're writing, and so on. And that gives me then inspiration for my own shows. I then change the title, and then I give it the Mark Shaw way of doing things. But listen, there'll be shows after me, there'll be shows before me. I've done shows that are not too dissimilar from loads of other people. But put your own stamp. That's what makes it different. That's what makes it different.
Okay, so we're talking about the adding value then. And for people who are just hopping on the broadcast right now, my name's Dave Shrine. I'm an online entrepreneur. I help people get unstuck, especially entrepreneurs and small business owners, when it comes to their website and social media. And we're talking with Mark Shaw, who just constantly is dropping amazing information on Periscope when it comes to Periscope tips and how to maximize Periscope and social media for your business. And what we're talking about right now is just this idea of how do we add more followers? And the secret to adding more followers is adding value. Well, what does that actually mean? And somebody had a great question here, Mark, and I want you to talk about this because I want to hear the Mark Shaw spin on the answer that I know you're going to be giving. Okay, talking about adding value, giving away your best stuff for free. But I have two goals for two different types of people. G. Hayden is asking about that. And that's one of the things that we see. Should we be niching down? What if we have multiple people who we want to talk about? How do we add value to everybody?
Okay, so one of the difficulties is this idea that you can try and please everyone. It's almost impossible to do that, okay? The key is to become memorable. Okay, most people sadly are very forgettable, okay, for a variety of reasons. So let me give you some examples. Okay, when you go to a networking event and you meet some people and someone says to you hi, and you say, you know, a bit of banter, and you go, what is it you do? And they go, I do website design. You go, oh, okay. You now get put in the website design box with the billion other website designers you've met in your life. Totally forgettable. Okay, now if that person had said, I do websites for astronauts, you'd have gone, oh, never met a website designer for an astronaut before, remembered them. Now, what then happens, and this is the most important bit, is when that person's on the street and someone says, I'm thinking of doing a website. You don't know anyone, do you? They go, well, actually, I met this guy, Dave. He does websites for astronauts. Maybe he'd do it for a dentist as well, but I can remember him. That's the point. So it doesn't matter you do a variety of things, okay? I do more than one thing, but be known for one thing. So, for example, people know I do Twitter, Periscope. Brilliant. All right. But people still ask me, can I help them with LinkedIn? Can I help them with Facebook? Can I help them with Google Plus? Can I help them with emails? Can I help them with all sorts of things? The point is they remembered me. So my greatest bit of advice is be memorable for one thing. Put your hat on that people know you, that you do one. The worst thing is when you meet people at networking and you say, what is it you do? And they say, oh, I wear 19 different hats. And you think, oh, what? Okay, we've all met people like that, right? Or they say, what I do is very complicated. Now, what that means is that they can't explain it in a sentence because they don't know themselves what it is they do. You know, so I say, you know, do you do the space, you know, the rockets for the space shuttle? And they go, no, don't be ridiculous. No, what is it you do? Well, they just can't explain it. So be able to explain it in one sentence, but be memorable. Once people remember you, particularly in the world we live in now, it's battle of the eyeballs, no one's got any time. And remember, okay, if you want people to recommend and refer you, you have to make it easy for that person to recommend and refer you. They will never refer you if they don't get it, if they don't get what you do, they don't understand what you do, if they're not sure what it is you do. So make it easy for them. So in answer to your question, niche on one thing that you can hang your hat on, that you can really be known for, but by demonstrating your knowledge and expertise around that, people will come at you for all sorts of things.
Okay, so what do you say about yourself then? Diane just posted, she goes, okay, well, Mark, what do you say about yourself?
Okay, Twitter. One of the UK's leading experts on Twitter and now on Periscope. So I say Twitter and Periscope. That's it. And the funny thing is 7 years ago when I got on Twitter, okay, I said, you know, if you go into Google and you type in UK Twitter expert, Twitter speaker, anything to do with Twitter, I'm top of the pile. That was my mission, to be top for that term, okay? But people said to me, oh, Mark, you don't want to do that. You want to be social media guy, be known for social media. Otherwise, you're limiting what you do. And I went, no, 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 no. I'll do Twitter. People then will be able to remember me for Twitter, but they all come at me. Can you help me with LinkedIn? Can you help me with Gmail? Can you help me with Facebook? Can you help me with anything? Okay. The point is they remembered me. That's how you get more business, by making it easy to be remembered.
Okay, so right on the heels of this question, Bold Turquoise asks, is it okay then to have more than one niche? Maybe say not like 19, but maybe 3 or so. What would you say?
Okay, the difficulty with that is providing the content, okay? It's almost like, okay, most people are not Coca-Cola. Most people don't have $1 billion budget and 20,000 staff producing endless streams of original great content. What most people end up doing is they have more than one thing, and they think, well, I'll have a Facebook for this and a Twitter for that and a business Twitter and a personal Twitter and a this and a that. And all they do is they want to be everywhere, duplicate the same content because they run out of stuff to say, and no one's going to look at it. No one's going to read it. No one's going to remember you for any of it. Okay, it's
Hey,
much
hang
better.
on 1 second. Go ahead and scroll back. We had a little bit of a connection there, and your answer was going to be so good. You hit
Okay.
nobody has endless budget like Coca-Cola and endless revenue stream. The problem that you run into is,
Okay, so the problem that you run into is you need an endless stream of quality, non-duplicated content, and most people can't do that. So they end up just duplicating the same thing on all the platforms everywhere, thinking if I'm everywhere, people will be looking at it. No, if you're everywhere, you end up basically being nowhere. No one looks at your stuff because it's the same stuff everywhere. So then what you do is you think, oh, I know, I'll add more noise. So you start sending out the images and the quotes of Gandhi and Steve Jobs and the tide coming in and out and the solar eclipse and the sun and this and that, okay? Just to add more presence. Doesn't work. The value is in the depth of the relationship, not the width. Okay, building deep relationships with people, and that takes engagement in the platform. Therefore, it's very difficult to have more than one niche because you need to do it times three or
yeah,
times two. That's what makes it so challenging. So the
yeah.
answer is yes, you can have more than one niche. Yes, you can talk about more than one stuff, but adding the value for the three different topics in multiple platforms that's original is very, very difficult.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I do websites, right? And so one of the things people ask me is, how should I have a different website for this? Should I have a different website for that? I want to do this, I want to do that. And my question is okay, what's tying them all together? Is there something tying them all together that is a common thread running throughout, or is it just you have multiple interests? Because the thing is when they say, no, there's nothing tying them together, I need to have three separate. I'm like, okay, it's going to be hard enough for you to keep up with one website and keep that rolling. Keeping up with three and actually having content, like you're saying, to populate on those and keep people coming back. Because one of the things I say, Mark, is people don't need you right now. Okay, they're not thinking about you right now. They don't need you in the moment that you're serving something up. So yeah, you might have a great blog post that you posted out today, but they don't need you today. They're going to need you 6 weeks from now. And if they go to your website, they go to your Twitter, they go to your Facebook, and all they see is something 6 weeks old, it doesn't matter how awesome that is. They're going to be like, oh, this is a graveyard right here. Or, oh, this doesn't relate. And they're going to go look for somebody else because they need you then. They didn't need you when you were able to keep up with all that content. They need you now, right?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
you know, so somebody's asking the question, or actually made the comment, I think it was the Donnie Brown, you should adjust the content to the platform and pick your best 2 or 3 platforms. And you know what? I want to talk about that for a second, because one of the things that I noticed when people were first hopping on Periscope is they were trying to figure out how to adjust the Periscope content for other social networks. And the thing that I think makes a social network amazing is when you lean into the idiosyncrasies of that social network. So if we're talking about Periscope and adding value on Periscope, trying to gain more followers on Periscope for our topic that we're talking about,
Yes.
what are some ways that we can actually lean into the Periscope, platform and say, look, I can't do this on any other platform. Here's how I'm going to use it on Periscope. In other words, how can I utilize Periscope uniquely to add value?
Okay. I think there are some really key points about Periscope that the majority of people really are missing. The first thing is that it is integrated into Twitter. This is huge, okay? People don't get that. I had someone say to me about 3 or 4 weeks ago, oh, do I have to join Twitter to get on this? Oh, that's a bummer. No, no. The greatest thing is that it is integrated through Twitter. What does that mean for you? That means that if you're smart with the title of your show, okay, it then goes into the Twitter universe. Yes, it goes to your followers on Twitter, but it also goes to the Twitter universe. You can therefore target people based around whatever you like, what's trending on Twitter, what's popular on Twitter, keywords on Twitter, whatever. Okay, so for example, if you have a bricks and mortar business and you are doing a show on Periscope from that business, I would add in hashtag Florida, hashtag Connecticut, hashtag wherever you are, because there might be people who are searching on that town, that city, wherever, who will then see your show, and you know what, they might come and pop in and buy some stuff. So the first thing is the integration with Twitter. The second thing is you need to build your show around one of the greatest features that Periscope has, which is the engagement. Okay, so many people ignore the comments, don't talk to any people who are engaging or anything. Okay, that is the biggest feature. All right, why? Because you want to make people feel part of the show. That's really important. You want people, not only do you want followers, you want viewers. Not only do you want viewers, you want repeat viewers. You want them to come back. Okay, what's going to make someone come back is if they feel part of the show, part of the decision process. You've asked questions, you've asked ideas, you've listened, and so on. So make your show, you know, if you've got a cooking program, I would ask your audience, what should I make next week? If you've got fashion, what sort of earrings should I do? Ask the people for their opinions, their ideas, their feedback, questions, all sorts of things. And the third thing that really differentiates it is the ability that at the end of your show to drive people somewhere. I see so many shows where people just end and they go, okay, bye, see you next week. Don't do that. Don't do that. Thank people, give them a teaser, trailer, what's coming next, just like most, you know, shows on Sky have or whatever channel you watch, okay? But thirdly, where can they go to get more from you? Your Facebook page, your group, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, tweet me, DM me, email me. Give them another place to go after the show to ask questions and all sorts of things, okay? So it's not a standalone thing. This is really important. People get too much in their mindset. You do a show, that's it, finished, move on, now go live by the pool. No, 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 no. Do a show, but afterwards encourage people. Where else can they find you? Where can they get more information? Because remember, this is a stepping stone to buying your stuff. Okay? Now, you don't have to sell anything. You just have to show up, help and support and engage and whatever, and at moments in time people will go, oh, you've got a website, great, I'll come over there. Oh, you've got stuff on there. That's how you do this stuff. Okay, so integrate with Twitter, make sure you engage with people that are asking questions and deal with them and so on. Give teasers, give trailers of what's coming next, and lastly, where can they go afterwards to get more information, to connect with you, because you want people to connect and introduce themselves and meet up and whatever. That's some of the key different, you know, this is not YouTube, right? If you want polished, Hollywood, edited, scripted, go to YouTube. That's not Periscope.
Yeah, that's good. People are resonating. Some of the things people are saying. Donnie Brown, who's just been awesome in the chat. Mark, can you give a shout out to Donnie Brown?
Donnie Brown, you're doing a great job there. Thank you.
That's awesome. She's doing fantastic. She says, yes, utilize Twitter. Success Sean says the connection with Twitter is super powerful. And I like what Scott Croucher says about Twitter and Periscope together. He says they're different platforms, but they work in harmony. And I love that. Wendy acknowledges, she says, Periscope has me using Twitter much more. Success Sean says something that I think is just absolutely key. He says, the right title on your Periscope brings new eyes. And I think that's really key. I love this from I'm Tish Forever. She says, well, that explains all my new followers on Twitter. And some people thought that was really funny. Baron Von Bolt, he says, I love real-time engagement. Absolutely. Annette Anthony says, not only, what was the context there? She says, not only come back, but share. Oh, that's what you were saying. Get people engaged so that they'll want to come back. And she says, actually share. And Wendy says, planning ahead is the key. We had a really good question come in here. And I think this is something that people really like. And I know that you and I, you know, there's all sorts of tips and tactical things that we can do, but it doesn't necessarily translate to a whole bunch of different niches and different personality types. That said, Chosen Course wants to ask the blatant question. So Mark, how do we get more and better engagement? And I know there's so many different things and that depends on personality, but I think that's what people really are looking for a lot of times is what can I do?
Okay. The guy at Google said, I don't know, 6 months ago that there is as much content that goes on the internet in one day that has gone on from the dawn of time until today. Okay. Content everywhere. Content. Okay. that what makes things different now, and why is someone going to engage with you, look out for your stuff, turn up for your show and all that, is context. Context, okay? Context is the banter you get when you have a relationship with someone. I know about you, I know what you're doing, I check out you on Twitter, I see what you're up to, I know you're getting married, you just lost your job, I know what you're doing, and so on. So the more context you have with your viewers, your listeners, people on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, the more chance they have that they will look out for your stuff. That's how you start to get more people engaging with you. And that's the difficulty, because that takes time. It takes time to reply to people. It takes time. And no one seems to have any time. Everyone, I have a saying, okay, everyone wants to go from stranger to sale in one tweet. Everyone wants to go from sale, you know, one Periscope show, I want to sell stuff. I just want to show up once, hit the room, bang, gone. You know, how many times, you know, people join a Facebook group? You know, they don't do a hello and a welcome. They just do, oh, hello, want to buy my webinar, want to buy my ebook, want to buy my course. When no one does anything, they then leave the group. Okay, that doesn't work on social. This is social media, not selfish media, auto media, sales media. Okay, so you want more engagement, you need to put in the effort to look at. So what can you do? A couple of things. One, refer other people, advocate for other people.
Yes.
3, go to other people's shows on Periscope, all right, and comment. Don't go there to sell. You go there to comment, to add value, to be in the room, to support other people. And the more you do that, the more people will start to engage and reply back to you. This is a question people should ask themselves on Periscope and Twitter is, has anyone ever advocated or referred me? The next question is anyone put me on a top 10 list of people on Periscope or Twitter? If no one's adding you to any top things, ask yourself, why is that? Is it because you're not visible? Is it because you don't ever show up to anyone else's stuff? Is it because you don't ever share anything, help anyone, refer anyone? They're the people that are on the top list. And if you're not doing any of that, you won't be added. That's what you need to start doing to get more engagement from people. But it takes effort and some time.
You know what? You hit 2 things right there. And I think it's what I like to call #hard truth. A lot of people think just by signing up for an account, getting on there and broadcasting, you know, and this hard truth, because your mom says that you're really good at talking on camera, or because, you know, your friends say, oh yeah, you'll totally be great at that. I have a saying, your first 100 scopes are going to be crap. And that goes for 2 things. It goes for one, like it gives you permission, right? It gives you permission to fail at it. If you know the first 100 scopes are going to be crap, then it's okay when you have a bad one. It's okay when you hop on there and you don't get the engagement. You're not getting added to somebody else's list, which, by the way, have you noticed how when somebody says my top 10 people to follow, those rooms are always more full than any other rooms? Have you noticed that, Mark Shaw?
Absolutely, absolutely. When you do your stuff, but it's aimed at helping other people, you always get a packed house, because people like that. People like it when you are selflessly, right, recommending other people based on the fact that you've seen their stuff, you like their stuff, they're giving great value. People love all that stuff. If you're not doing any of that, and if you're not on anyone's list, then you need to look at, why is that? And I said, you know, I had someone say to me once, I said to them, you're on Twitter? They went, yeah. I said, do you read all the people that you follow? Do you read any of their tweets? And they went, oh no, I'm too busy. And I went, do you think they're reading yours? Oh yeah, mine's good stuff. Yeah, definitely reading mine. No, it doesn't work like that, okay? There's reciprocity, or whatever the word is. You know what the word is, I can't say, okay? You have to put yourself out there and look at other people's stuff, comment on other people's stuff, go to other people's shows. If you're not going anywhere, if you're not recommending, referring, looking out for people, you don't get people coming to me and saying, can you recommend anyone for X, Y, and Z? And I recommend other people. When you start to do that, people then recommend and refer you. If you're not doing any of that, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, right now, the people in the chat right now on Periscope, they're fantastic. They're helping one another out. I mean, I'm reading the comments rolling through here, and I see a lot of @ symbols, Mark. There's a lot of people agreeing with one another, affirming the things that you're saying, taking the things that you're saying and doing exactly what you told them to do. put their spin on it so it's the same truth. And people in the chat are doing fantastic. So I want to wind down here. A really good question came through, and it's on topic, but it's a little bit kind of like on the other side of the map. But I want to hear what you have to say, because I think a lot of people feel this way, especially when there are crickets in their rooms when they launch a broadcast. I didn't catch the name, but he said he's a business-to-business home contractor. And he says, what if I love to scope, but not many of my customers use it? I think that's a really, really good question, because I think there's a lot of industries where it's like, I love this platform. I love being on social media, but the people I'm trying to reach aren't necessarily here. Do they drop it? Do they alter? What are some of the things that they should be thinking about? It's like, I love it, but it's just not my target audience just yet.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, okay? All right. Periscope allows you to have a global, worldwide audience, okay? You don't know who some of your customers are, okay? We're so early with this. You know, someone said to me, you know, about the boat in the harbour. The boat hasn't even been built for this. This is early. You have not missed the boat. This is very, very early days, okay? My advice would always be, show up, get your niche, start doing it, start practicing, getting really good at this stuff, okay? Trust me on this. When I started Twitter 7 years ago, I had the same people saying the same thing. Mark, none of my customers are on Twitter. It's all going to be a waste of time. It's going to be a fad. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm wasting my time. 7 years later, everyone's on Twitter. Okay, everyone's on there. Everyone's using it because you got to. So trust me on this, okay? Everyone will get onto Periscope at some stage. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but they will suddenly see the value because everyone else will be on there. Live streaming will become the norm, okay? It might not be today or tomorrow, but it's coming. 7 million people, I think, now on Periscope, okay? So maybe today all your customers aren't, but maybe tomorrow they will be, okay? And you can start to demonstrate your knowledge, your expertise, get your name out there, build a reputation, and so on, and be streets ahead of anyone else that joins you afterwards. So definitely crack on and get on there. That would be my advice.
I love it. People, again, are resonating with that. I love what Courtney C. Mentor said. She says, educate them. Go one step before they need you so they will find you. And I love that. It's very forward thinking, right? A lot of times we want the results here now. And one of the things that I tell people when there's all these different blast your casts, you know, go in, promote your show, things like that. What I tell people when I go in there, one of the things I say is I'll help you be happy you have a small audience. And they're always kind of like, why would I be happy if I have a small audience? And it's this idea that Courtney's leaning into. When you start broadcasting, you get all of the rough spells out of the way. And then as people start to find you a month, 6 months, a year down the road, you've gotten all those first scopes out of the way. You've learned what doesn't work. And so when people start finding you, they step in and you can immediately add that value.
The other thing, Dave, let me just...
Yeah, do it.
The other thing is that one of the big mistakes people make is suppose they go to a networking event, they meet a load of people, and they go up to someone and they say, oh, so in their target head is the sort of person that buys from them is XYZ. So they say to them, oh, do you do XYZ? They say no. They say, okay, I don't want to speak to you. Do you do it? No, I don't want to speak to you. You do it. Okay, I'll speak to you. Don't do that. Don't sell to the room. Your mission on Periscope, on social, is to create advocates. That's your mission, okay? Don't look for the customers, okay? Create advocates. And when you've created advocates, you will then have an army, quote unquote, okay, of unpaid salespeople who will tell people about you, your service, and your product, okay? That is what you're after. Don't go looking for all your customers. Just go looking for people who get to know, like, and trust you. And Periscope is a fast track to that. Think you're cool, you're adding value, and then when I'm on the street, someone says I need a heating engine or whatever it is, I go, oh, speak to that Bob fella. I see him on Periscope. He seems to know with it. That's what you're after. That's why you need to be on here.
Okay, so how many times a day do you see in your broadcasts, wow, so-and-so told me to come check you out. I'm glad I did. I love this stuff. Do you see that ever in your broadcast?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, so the mindset is one of creating advocates, creating people who think you're cool, rather than I only want to hang around people who want to buy my stuff. Okay? different mindset. And if you get into the advocacy mindset, yes, it takes, listen, you don't get an advocate from one show and 10 minutes on Periscope. You get an advocate from consistently showing up, demonstrating your knowledge, doing all the stuff we've already talked about. And in time, because here's the thing, okay, for someone to advocate you, it's not about you, it's about them. They need to feel confident that when they recommend you, you're still going to be doing what you said you were going to be doing, and you're still going to do it brilliantly, okay? So the problem is not with you, it's with the person who's going to advocate. They need to feel confident that you have shown up enough times that they think you're a heating salesman today, you're not going to be a car mechanic tomorrow, okay? That's why you need to show up. That's why it takes time to build up that, okay? But when you do, suddenly you get phone calls all over the place. So-and-so recommended me, so-and-so suggested I check out your thing, da-da-da-da. That's what you're after. And then suddenly you get a whole unpaid workforce referring you. Brilliant. That's social media.
Yep. Yep. I love that. That's absolutely fantastic. Well, Mark, I want to respect your time. You got a lot of different things going on, but where would you like to send people if they're not, because I think they're probably all following you on Periscope so far, but just in case they're not, where would you like to send them to connect more with you? You got a lot of really cool stuff going on. Where could they kind of just get the tip of the iceberg?
Okay, so you can tweet me at Mark Shaw, you can DM me at Mark Shaw, anything you want to know, Periscope at markshaw.biz is an email address for me. Happy to answer any questions. Follow my stuff on Periscope. Follow Dave as well. Make sure you follow him. Does a lot of cool shows, a lot of cool stuff. And listen, just me being on this show is testament to how this social stuff. I did not know Dave 4 weeks ago. Okay, right? I've watched this stuff. He's watched my stuff. We've had some banter back and forth on Twitter. So he said, "Come on a show." I'm on holiday in Florida, and here we are on a Google Hangout. And suddenly, I'm now in his world. He's now in my world. I'm recommending him. He's recommending me. That's how you do social, folks. Now, here's the thing. He didn't, in his first message to me, say, "Mark, I'm doing a webinar. Do you want to buy it and recommend it to all your people?" He doesn't know my people. He doesn't know me. So you have to play the game, okay? And the game is getting to know people, introducing yourself. You can't fast track it, and then at the appropriate time, you can introduce other things. I get so many emails saying, "Hello, Mark, happy to connect. Can you promote my webinar, my book, my course, my car, my house, my this, that, and the other?" Never going to happen. Never going to happen. So learn from this experience. Just us doing this is how social works.
So I know that you somewhat plan some of your scopes. Do you have any scopes coming up today that you want to promote ahead of time, and just so people can know to be looking out for it?
The funny thing is that sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm on vacation in Florida, and I wake up and I watch a few things and I get some ideas. At this minute in time, I haven't got a Scooby-Doo what I'm going to talk about. But here's an important lesson, okay? Here's an important lesson. Some people say, "Oh, you need to do at least 2 a day, 3 a day, half a day, whatever," okay? So people just show up to do the 2 a day. Don't do that. Turn up when you have something valuable to say.
Yes.
Okay? And at this moment in time, I haven't got anything in my head that I'm thinking I've got to get that out there. So I'd rather not do a show than turn up and do a rubbish show or a nothing show or give me heart show or the weather here's great show, which is nothing. So don't do that. When you've got something to say, then you do a show. Don't worry about the time. Don't worry about anything else. Just turn up when you've got something valuable to add. That's when you show up.
Okay, Mark, we'll shut down here. The audience, the room, the viewers, they've been awesome. Will you give a major shout out to everybody in the room and just let them know how fantastic they've been?
Listen, thank you, guys. As I always say, okay, on my shows, if it wasn't for you guys and girls showing up, I would basically be talking into my iPhone case. So listen, thank you for joining in. Without you, there isn't a show. It's just me and Dave. He's in his lounge and I'm in a back bedroom. So thank you all for joining us.
Absolutely, guys. So thank you to Mark Shaw. This has been fantastic. As soon as I shut this one down, I'm going to launch and you and I can talk a little bit more about this idea that Mark was talking about, this advocate thing. So if you want to hang out, talk a little bit more with me and the rest of the room, we'll get to more of your comments. Mark Shaw may pop in, he may not, because he's on vacation and we want to let him get back to vacation. But I love you all. Thank you so much. We'll see you in a few moments.